Welcome back to Flywheel Films, and welcome to a special video with my dear friend Cameron and his brand new to him NC Miata. And I'm really excited to go down memory lane because I'm feeling feelings that I felt 5 years ago when I got my NC Miata, because this is basically the same thing, and mine has come a long ways, but it's nice to go back to its roots. So Cameron, welcome back to the channel because, well, you're back because you've been on the channel many times with a different Miata.
Yeah, the silver NB.
Silver NB.
Named Marvin.
And I met you when you had the NB, and you're actually my first friend, well, in Colorado, but also my first friend with my NC Miata, because I bought it, drove it straight to your house because you offered up your car wash service, which I mean has a hose and some Adams Polishes products, which I didn't have.
Do you even have the pressure washer then? I don't remember.
I don't remember. Either way, we got a car wash done, friendship was made, and now here we are. So this is your, I don't know, brief top down story. This 2012 NC Miata, you've been searching for a while. I guess, yeah, really quick, explain why you got rid of Marvin, your NB, and why you decided to step up. NB enthusiasts may disagree, but I think we can agree in a lot of ways it is a step up. I would agree too. And that's part of the reason that we decided to you know, sell the NB and go for an NC. Was a refinement and like road tripability and practicality, especially in the trunk and just interior space and, you know, noise on the highway. So yeah, like you said, I was looking for about a little over a month, probably closer to a month and a half, nationwide, looking for an NC. And honestly, what kind of set me over was, I mean, you've been preaching and praising the NC for as long as I have known you, and rightfully so. But when you were out of town and we were able to drive your car for even just a day, you know, Megan, my wife, turns to me and says, "We need an NC." And so I was like, okay, that's a done deal. So I was looking for something that was NC 2 or 3, mostly just because the looks. I just like the look of the front bumper, especially a little bit better. Yeah. I wanted the more performance-y, you know, kind of some of the club features, mostly the limited slip. And of course the manual transmission was a requirement. Some of the, you know, more nice to have features like the keyless entry and, you know, the leather seats, heated seats, that kind of thing. Those were definitely nice to have. But the power hardtop, that was like huge. I mean, the NB, you know, I put a new top on it and it was fine. It didn't leak. It didn't make a bunch of noise. But definitely this is the way to go if you just want that easy refinement and just nice to drive. Right, so you went the complete opposite direction. You know, for those who don't know, my brother just got an NC on the channel, well, months now at this point, months ago, but complete opposite direction, which is cool. Austin and I went completely opposing directions. You went basically the exact same direction, NC2, so anything between 2009 and 2012 would feel the same as my car. Technically NC3 would feel about the same too, but having the same front bumper as me. But you specifically went 2012, which is exactly what I got. And you have the premium and suspension packages, which they came on my special edition, but those are optional extras on this. This is Grand Touring. Right, yeah, Grand Touring with the suspension pack, which is the limited slip and the factory Bilsteins. Yeah, and so all those together, I mean, that gives you because this is like the xenon headlights, and the advanced keyless entry, heated seats, like you said, the Bose 7-speaker stereo, Sirius XM, which you can tell by this antenna right here. So fully loaded. It is as loaded as it gets, as you would say. And yeah, an auto dimming mirror, which, you know, there's still new cars today in 2025 that don't come with auto dimming mirrors, which is pretty crazy. Even EVs, there's EVs that don't come with auto dimming mirrors. Strange. So that's really wild. But this is fun, and this is different. You know, my special edition came with all blacked out accents. I do like silver wheels. I've, you know, come back around to silver wheels, but you know, the factory fitment is not exactly good. Yeah, there's a lot of room here. A lot of room, and they're not really wide enough, I'd say, to get like really proper tires. Right. And so there's a lot of things that can be done with this. So I guess really quick, you know, was the buying process annoying, or what was that? You know, you see these cars are holding value pretty well, and there's a lot of them out there that are going for crazy money, and you're like, are these actually selling, or are they just posted online for fun?
Right.
But as far as my particular buying process, I mean, there was a few other dealers we were talking with, just all over the country, and honestly, they were really good because I wanted to avoid the Jordan problem of buying a very rusty, crusty car underneath. And so I asked every dealership that I was seriously interested in, I was like, hey, can you take pictures underneath, suspension, you know, something? And they were all very happy to do that. But
Yeah.
Buying this car was fine. You know, we worked out a deal, and it was a price we both could agree upon. You know, it wasn't like a screaming deal, but I definitely wasn't getting ripped off. And got it shipped from Virginia. So it originally started in Delaware, then it lived in Virginia for a little bit. So that kind of made me nervous as far as corrosion and rust goes. But after seeing those photos and getting it shipped here, which didn't cost nearly as much as I thought.
Yep.
It was great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It makes sense. And as far as, you know, are you pretty happy with the condition? Like, you know, it is on one hand a 13-year-old car.
It is, yeah.
So you're not expecting perfection.
Yeah.
But overall, from what I can tell, I mean, it looks pretty good condition. You know, mine wasn't totally perfect either, but I guess I see like a little bit of stuff here.
Yeah, there's a couple door dings.
Little door dings, yeah.
Driver's side. A couple other little paint things. I mean, you can tell it's been taken through an automatic car wash a few times and all that sort of thing. But
and was dark blue the color you were searching for, or what was your color strategy?
Pretty much as long as it wasn't black and or white or silver. I mean, you know, the silver is fine. It's just kind of boring.
You already had silver. You want something different.
Yeah, something with some color. And actually, my dad has a 2012 NC, almost the same, which is kind of wild. But his is red, so I was like, I like the red, but I can't have the same car.
Yeah,
so.
You didn't want to do copper red and be too matchy. So yeah. Makes sense.
On NC3, I fell in love with the Dolphin Gray and Spicy Mocha interior combo.
Yeah.
That's really, once I saw that, I was like, oh, I got to look for that even more. Even though gray, yeah, it's kind of boring, but, you know, the interior really was a selling point with that.
Well, I got to say, I love the dark blue, and I've always been a fan of this tan interior. My first NC was NC1 with the kind of baseball orange leather interior. Mm-hmm. Didn't love that. You know, I featured our friend Ethan's Audi TT on the channel. He doesn't have that anymore, but that had like a true cool baseball glove interior. The NC1 leather brown was just kind of ugly in my opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty bright if you haven't seen photos of it.
Yeah, it's fine, but this is a very objectively nice, like classy tan. And I really like that the door cards have a little bit, but it's not like overdone. Whereas with the NC1, you know, all this was like tan, and it was just kind of like,
yeah, all the plastics in the center
puked
console.
Inside.
Yep.
And yeah, you got, you know, silver accents here on the dash, on the steering wheel, which of course I don't. It's wild to see the factory radio. I haven't seen that in forever. All those buttons, because I replaced mine with you. You know, we did that head unit installation video, which has now gotten like 50,000 views. So hopefully a lot of people found that like really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And gauge faces, factory gauge faces, factory shift knob. You know, this is awesome. This takes me back. I got to see the engine bay, because I also haven't seen a stock engine bay in a while. But it's mostly, yeah. So fully stock, other than I've never seen one of these actually.
Yeah, it's lovely. I mean, you can definitely tell being from Virginia and Delaware, this car was kept inside, especially in the winter. So that was probably an easy way to just turn off the battery and not have it drain over the winter.
No phantom drain, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm keeping it. You know, it's not causing any issues.
It's awesome.
Kind of handy if you need to work on something electrical. Just flip the switch.
Right. Yeah, I would love that, because it's really annoying to just constantly disconnect your battery and stuff. So that's pretty sweet.
Definitely less scary.
Yeah.
I know it's only 12 volts, but man, it gets me every time.
Yeah, but otherwise, I mean, it's really clean. This is really awesome. And even spots where I saw rust in mine, like a little bit inside the mechanism and like little bits of, like mine wasn't horrible, but it was bad enough to where every time someone asked me about buying an NC, if we can shut this, I feel like I've warned them very, very intensely to look out for rust.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, I mean, heck, even my NB, which was obviously much older, it was starting to get the rust in the normal spots, you know, along the wheel wells and the sills.
But I see, you got one modification right here. That's at least 5 horsepower. This Flying Miata Yacht Club sticker.
It is. It's a power mod.
Big shout out to those guys. And I think I'm even wearing a hat. Yeah. And that's one hack that is awesome. The Bluetooth module situation.
Right.
So
yeah,
you can
it works great.
Plug Bluetooth, because NC2 is what introduced the aux jack on the car.
Right.
And for those who remember what a headphone jack is,
yeah,
that was awesome. You could plug your, iPod back then, but phone, whatever, in to play that. And then of course there are Bluetooth adapters, which you've done. If you have an NC1, you don't have that aux jack, but you do have a plug in the back of your head unit, which they sell an adapter to convert it to an aux jack. So you're not up a creek without a paddle. But, as we saw, a head unit is a great way to solve that. But you did the really easy in the meantime solve.
That took less than a minute to plug that in.
Great. I also see
the other mod is a shorter antenna.
Yeah,
the factory one was
you've reduced your coefficient of drag, which should also add a little bit of speed and power.
Speed and power, MPG even. Yeah, they're doing
right.
well.
Yeah. And
lug nuts are aftermarket, but
yeah, lug nuts are aftermarket. They look much cleaner than mine. Mine were black. And this little phone holder, actually, where the glove box is, that's different.
Oh yeah. Do you want to see how wild that is?
Mine plugged into is plugged into the vent thing.
So I mean, it is meant for a vent, but this gap here is perfect for a hook style.
That's
thing.
amazing.
So you just hook it in there, and it doesn't like pull on the plastic too much, and there you go.
That's amazing. So a lot of people have asked me for my solution. I do have one here. I like it, but mine's just low enough to where tall people do hit it with their legs. And it's just a matter of time before it breaks off.
Yeah.
So before we forget, let's open the trunk, because I think we should talk a couple next steps that you have in mind. And why are we opening the trunk? Boom. The classic
the roadkill style
napkin
list.
math, but like on a piece of cardboard. So it looks like you have some things you're working on.
I do, yeah. So some of the more maintenance stuff, all the fluids, it came with some maintenance records, but not too much detail. So I figured might as well just do it. A couple little things as far as the cowl screw cover is missing. The side, passenger side mirror bezel is barely cracked,
Right.
So a couple stuff like that. And, well, we'll see if we get into the whole door switch thing. That's very confusing to me.
Oh yeah.
But but that's all the kind of the boring stuff, but stuff that should be done, sooner than later.
And the mods list, of course.
Mods list, yeah.
The classics, door
Dash
bushings, head unit. You did the dash cam, the dual front and rear, which is awesome. LEDs is always great. Head unit, wheels and tires, which you've already acquired. Which is going to be really fun. We'll just show those off sometime.
Yeah.
You'll be joining me at summer camp. Hopefully some of you will be joining us at summer camp. And for now, let's go drive. Fire it up. I mean, obviously it feels familiar, but also different. I think every car is, when you daily drive a Miata, every single day, you can jump in another Miata that's the exact same generation, and the clutch will have just the slightest bit difference in feeling. The steering feel just the slightest bit of difference. And obviously there's a lot of things that have changed since my car was in this condition. You have 73,000 miles, so about 40,000 less than mine, but this really doesn't feel that much different than when mine was new. Well, newish. I bought mine with 29,000.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this thing was cared for really quite well. That's my impression. We give these people a little bit of room, but it's just so dude, I forgot how I love these knobs so much. I wish a head unit would fit around the knobs and keep the knobs.
Totally.
I love how they feel. And yeah, we didn't show, of course, on camera with the top, but I'm not used to having to press and hold the button. I've been absolutely spoiled by the smart top situation by MX-5 things. So, jumping right out, bringing it out. Natural aspiration. I'll roll the windows up here. Wow.
She rips, but not really.
Yeah.
She's eager.
It's a momentum car, as they say. And hey, it's still great. There's no need for forced induction to enjoy a Miata, and that's the beauty of a Miata. You have a road like this where it's just curves and mountains, and yes, we are starting at 6,500 feet elevation. This pass goes up over 8,000 feet. We're not going to go all that far, but I've driven so many small, naturally aspirated cars, Miatas, on this road, and you just enjoy it. You really don't need that much speed. On huge track situations, I get it. If you're, say, in Texas with long straightaways and no curves to make it interesting, I do get the wanting power thing. But I mean, this takes me back to why I fell in love with this car. And it actually is super special to drive it in a case like this, where it's just, you ring it out, the car loves to rev, this MZR engine is so happy at high RPMs. And of course, NC2s, when they upped the red line to 7250, which gave it that horsepower bump. Forged internals allow that to happen reliably and comfortably for a long, long time. I mean, these engines with huge amounts of miles exist for good reason. And just one of the things, I mean, there's a lot of reasons I chose NC over ND. Part of it being more interior space storage, more interior space, literally. The trunk, while being about the same volume, actually I find it more usable in the NC.
Totally.
And I'm curious what you feel, Cameron, about why you picked NC over ND.
Yeah, and honestly, some low mileage NCs are similar prices to the first few years of ND.
Yeah, NDs have been out 10 years, almost 10 years. So you will find ND1s for NC2 or 3 prices.
Yeah. Yeah, we chose NC2. Too many numbers and letters. Well, largely, like I said, because of looks, and yeah, like you said, it made some interior refinements and forged internals. Just making everything just a bit better.
Right.
But as far as NC as a generation, the comfort was big, and the usable trunk space. I mean, NB is a pretty wide trunk, but it's very shallow. It's very, not very tall.
NC is like the perfect compromise because ND has a pretty deep trunk, but it's very narrow. NC has, it's not as wide as the NB lid perhaps, but it's also deep-ish in parts. So I find it a very useful space. Of course, I've learned how to maximize it. But just another reason that I feel like some people mention is the hydraulic steering rack of the NC. I mean, I'm feeling every bump and undulation of the road. I feel very connected to the car. The NB Miata notably switched to EPS, electronic power steering. And while it is a good rack, it's a good system, it still wasn't quite the same to me. I didn't feel like every single thing that I wanted to through the steering wheel. And even the suspension, there's a little bit of a drop off here, but you're, not lowered dramatically like some NCs I know.
Not at all.
Even my brother just threw on some coilovers, and yeah, his are a little bit low for my liking.
And that's, I don't really plan on lowering it much, even with aftermarket suspension.
Right.
Largely because of that. I mean, it's like we
live in Colorado, and we like to use our cars.
Yeah, we take them even on, a dirt road like this. I mean, this is just a shoulder, but, it's like, I don't want to have to worry about scraping and stuff.
Yeah. But it's so easy to maneuver this thing. And, you have the suspension package, which I think is a notable package, worthwhile upgrade. It gives you the shock tower brace. It gives you the limited slip differential. Those are great. The Bilsteins, fine. Like, I don't see them as a reason to get the suspension package. Notably because around your mileage, which as you notice, they start to sort of fail. Like they're not gone. Like yours are okay, but like,
yeah, it's got a nice kind of floaty Cadillac ride to it.
Yeah, and I don't mind the floaty ride. Like, it is nice to settle it down and plant it, and like I've made videos on suspension upgrades, and that's actually what's being done to my car right now back at our shop. But and yours probably soon, but the stock feel is still impressive. Having met some of Mazda's engineers, I'm like, I totally understand what their intentions were and how they threw everything they could at making it comfortable but also handle well. And they know their buyer base is all over the market. I mean, it's a cheap enough sports car to where young professionals can aspire to and then buy one, but it's also a very common, popular choice for seasoned individuals, as I should say. I meet many guys who are retired and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna treat myself. They'll maybe go buy a brand new ND for big money, or even a really, really clean low mileage NC3 for like 20 grand. And hey, that's a lot of money for an NC, but it's still a great car.
absolutely.
There's plenty of new cars that are 40 grand that don't feel hardly any better than this. I was just driving the GR86, Hakone edition, 40 grand on the nose. Doesn't really feel any better than, I mean, it's got a little more power because that's when they did the second generation BRZ GR86 engine. But I prefer the MZR, I prefer the inline four to the Boxer. And even this in factory form, the exhaust notes just there, it needs to be a little louder, but you've walked through most of these mods with me, especially the notable ones of like the muffler, the head unit, like just the little quality of life things. And I'm just selflessly, but also kind of selfishly excited to relive those through you. Of course, whatever direction you go. I mean, it is fun to make your car your own. The Miata is such a huge aftermarket support that it's so much fun to buy like a blank canvas like this and then make it your own. And sure, there's a million Miatas out there, but everyone, I know there are plenty of identical Miatas, but like, it's less likely to be identical than some of the less popular sports cars where you only have a handful of mods to choose from, which means everyone's gonna do the same thing, call it a day. Yeah. So it seems like you like it, Cameron.
I really do. Yeah, it's a great car, and it's suiting our needs, you know, and our wants too.
Right.
Yeah, let me tell you, those heated seats, man, they really get you toasted up real quick.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the cool thing about this age and this generation, NC2 and 3 specifically, is that you don't have to do anything to it for it to feel, I wouldn't say, you know, it's modern, but not like overly technologically advanced.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you still have like the safety systems, right? As far as like traction control and stability control and you know, some of the creature comforts like heated seats and automatic climate. Depending on your trim level, but and the power top is awesome. But the awesome thing too is like, because there aren't any big screens, is that when you're driving at night, everything glows red, and it's just great.
And it's a nice soft glow, and yeah, they knocked it out of the park with this. I don't remember. I should really go back and watch some of the original reviews of the NC as like, you know, Motor Trend and Car and Driver and all of them got their hands on it, but all I know is the review that Richard Hammond did on Top Gear when the NC came out. And that is like a core memory for me, seeing that review, and it like means so much that I can do a review on the NC in stock form as he did on my own dinky little tiny channel, but still like somehow that makes me feel like I'm like trying to understand what Richard was feeling in those moments, just on the wrong side of the car. I would love to drive a right-hand drive. I'd love to go, actually, that note to self and note to viewers, I want to go to Europe and drive a right-hand drive 1.8 liter NC. I'd love to try the stuff we haven't had. But as far as NCs go, this one feels really solid. But I know you've been looking all over the country. You had friends kind of test driving them where you could if they were local, local and close by.
Yep.
And this is exactly what I would want one to feel like, and even smell like and look like nothing's weird, nothing's off, nothing feels funky. It's like little tiny cosmetic things on the outside don't really bother me that much, because, you know, mine came pretty much perfect on the outside, and then my first door ding like hurt my soul so much. And if there's already like a little scratch, then like the inevitable next scratch won't bother you that much. And if anything, they're just moments of showcasing that you've actually truly lived with it. All right, Cameron, well, made it back to my house. Again, this thing looks awesome,
Storm
feels
Blue
awesome.
Metallic.
Congrats. I know it's been a long search.
Yeah.
And it feels good to see you, you know, find the car of your current dreams.
Yeah, it's great.
There's always more dreams, but hey, you and Megan are happy.
Yeah.
And, you know, as I say, happy wife, happy life, that kind of thing.
That's
and but also happy Cameron, happy life.
Yeah.
And this car, I mean, it came from the factory smiling. And
it did, yeah.
Seems like you matched that.
You know what's really funny is we have a one-car garage, and so this car is now the nicer of our two cars, and it gets to live inside. But when I back in, then my wife's car will back in, you know, in the driveway in front of it. But we'll see the big smile on the reversing camera, and that just makes us laugh every time.
That's fantastic. Well, congrats again, and yeah, I guess we'll see you guys on future videos featuring, of course, this car and many other cars.